I still remember what you said that night, I whispered, staring at the ceiling. We'll make it no matter what. Lila laughed from the kitchen. You're still stuck on that line? Yeah, it sounded like forever. She peeked around the corner, a smudge of flour on her cheek. Forever's a big word, Ethan. Don't hold me to it. Already did, I said, smiling. She rolled her eyes, but smiled back. You're too sentimental. That's why I love you, Juan. Why you drive me insane. I chuckled. I'll take both. Back then, her laughter filled the apartment like sunlight. We had plans or cafe, the Ember Room, a place for dreamers and night owls. I worked late shifts at the design firm, saving every cent. She handled marketing, sketches, color palettes. We were a team, or at least I thought we were. Marcus dropped by earlier, she said suddenly, voice light. Oh. I glanced up. What for? He wanted to help with the supplier list. He knows a guy who Marcus knows everyone, I cut in with a grin. He's useful that way. She hesitated, then smiled. Yeah, useful. There was something in her tone, something thin and wavering, but I let it pass. I always let it pass. Later that night, I came home late again. The hallway lights flickered as I pushed open the door. She was on the couch, typing furiously on her laptop. Still working? I asked. Yeah, she murmured without looking up. Almost done. I sat beside her. You've been glued to that thing all week. It's just the campaign draft. Let me see. She quickly minimized the window. Not yet. It's messy. I frowned. Since when do you hide messy stuff from me? You showed me your half-burned muffins last week. Ellett, she laughed softly. That's different. I smiled, but a small part of me didn't. The next day, Marcus came by, our shared workspace. You two still alive? He teased, holding 2 cups of coffee. Barely, I said, taking one. You working with Lila today? Yeah. Finalizing supplier deals. She's got good instincts. She's got a good heart, I said. He smirked. That too. Something about his grin rubbed me wrong. Lila walked in, phone in hand, and smiled too easily at him. I brushed it off again. That evening, Leela and I had dinner together, candles flickering low. You're quiet, she said, chewing slowly. Just tired. From work or from me? From missing you, I said. You've been ... distant. I've just been focused, Ethan. Not everything's about feelings. I know. But we built this on feelings, remember? She sighed. You're impossible. I reached for her hand. I just don't want to lose what we have. You won't, she said quickly. We'll make it, remember? The same line. But this time it sounded different, like a promise she didn't believe anymore. 2 nights later, I returned early from work. The apartment was quiet, except for the soft buzz of her voice behind the bedroom door. I smiled at first, thinking she was rehearsing a pitch. Then I heard it. Marcus. Stop. Someone might hear. My chest tightened. Her tone was gentle, trembling nothing like the way she spoke to clients. Don't say that, she whispered. You know I care about him. My fingers went numb. I pressed closer to the door, heart pounding so loud it drowned her words. A chair creaked. Lila. Marcus's voice murmured from the speaker, low but clear. He won't find out. You said he's too busy saving the world. Oh, she laughed softly, almost sadly. He trusts me too much. My stomach turned. The walls felt smaller, the air heavier. I wanted to burst in, demand the truth, but my legs refused to move. Instead, I backed away, slow and silent, until the hallway swallowed me. Outside, the night smelled of rain and burnt air. I leaned against the railing, breathing hard. My hands shook. Maybe I misheard, but the voice in my head said I didn't. I stood there for a long time, watching lightning flash over the city. I thought about the cafe we planned, the promises we made, the love I thought was unbreakable. I believed in you, I whispered to no one. More than I believed in myself. Inside, her laughter carried through the doorlight. Careless, free. I turned away knowing something in me had cracked. Something that wouldn't ever fully heal again. And yet, I didn't knock. Not yet. Asterisk, I don't know what pushed me to check her laptop that morning. Maybe it was instinct. Maybe it was the silence, the kind that hides something ugly beneath. Her laptop was open on the counter. She was in the shower. I told myself I'd just look at the cafe budget spreadsheet. I clicked the wrong tab. Messages blinked open. Marcus's name sat there like a scar. Leela, he's still at work. You can come over for a bit. Marcus, you sure? He's not catching on? Lila, he trusts me too much. My stomach turned cold. I scrolled. More messages. More proof. No room for denial. When she came out, towel wrapped around her hair. She froze. What are you doing? My voice shook. Reading the truth, apparently. Her eyes widened. Ethan, wait, how long? I asked. The words scraped out of me like gravel. It's not what you think, how long. I said again, louder. She swallowed hard. A few weeks. A few weeks, I repeated, trying to taste the words, trying to understand how time could feel like poison. So all those nights you said you were tired, you were with him? It just happened, Ethan, she said quietly. You were too busy chasing a dream that didn't exist. The sound that left me wasn't a laugh or a sob, it was something broken between them. So it's my fault now? Because I worked for us? I didn't say that. You didn't have to. She stepped forward, hands trembling. I didn't plan it. Marcus Jesse was there. We were working late, and I wasn't, I said. That's the part you left out. Please don't make this ugly, she whispered. Too late. I pushed the laptop toward her. You already did. She looked down, silent, and for the first time, I saw guilt. Real, sharp guilt. But it didn't make me feel better. It just made me hate myself for still caring. The air between us felt heavy. My heart pounded so hard I thought it might crack my ribs. I loved you, I said. Everything I did was for us. The cafe, the plans, every damn sleepless night. I know, she whispered. And that's what scared me. You loved me so much, it felt like a cage. I stared at her. A cage? You called our dream a cage? Tears welled in her eyes. You don't understand? No, I think I do. You wanted something easier? Something that didn't ask for loyalty. She looked away. Marcus made me feel alive again. The words hit harder than a slap. Alive? I said, voice breaking. And what was our ghost? She covered her face, shaking. Ethan, please stop. But I couldn't stop. My anger was too raw. You said we'd make it no matter what. You said that. I meant it when I said it. Then when did it stop meaning anything? She didn't answer. I waited. 10 seconds, 20, a lifetime. Say something, I demanded. I don't know, she whispered. Maybe when I started feeling like I was disappearing next to you. My chest felt hollow. You disappeared because you walked away, not because I pushed you. I didn't want this to hurt you. Then why did you do it? She broke then tears, streaming, voice cracking. I don't know, I didn't think. I thought maybe it was just a mistake. But then it kept happening, and you kept choosing him. Her silence was my answer. The room felt smaller, suffocating. I took a step back, then another. You should have told me. I wanted to, she said weakly. But you looked at me like I was everything good in the world. I couldn't bear to ruin that. You already did. Her hand reached out, but I moved away. Ethan, please, don't go. I grabbed my jacket. You already left me. I'm just catching up. She flinched like I'd hit her. I wanted to take it back, but the anger burned too hot. At the door, I turned once more. Was it worth it? She blinked. What? Losing me for him. Was it worth it? She said nothing. Just looked at me with those glassy eyes that once felt like home. I didn't wait for an answer. The hallway outside was quiet. But my head screamed. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. Every breath hurt. I walked down the stairs like a man who'd forgotten how to move. By the time I stepped into the rain, it was pouring hard. The water soaked through my shirt, cold and relentless, but I didn't care. People rushed past me with umbrellas. I stood still, watching the streetlights blur through the drops. She was supposed to be my forever. I whispered. The words barely left my lips before the thunder drowned them out. I laughed once bitter, broken. Then I just stood there in the rain until the world blurred into silence. The days after the breakup bled together. I woke up late, went to work late, and came home to silence. The apartment still smelled like her shampoo. I hated it. I missed it. I didn't know which feeling hurt more. Ava from the office called one afternoon. "You alive, Ethan?" "Barely," I said, forcing a laugh. "You sound like death." "That's the goal." She sighed. "You're not funny. I'm not trying to be. Want to grab lunch? Get some air?" "I'm fine. You're lying. I'm tired." She paused. "Then let me bring food." "You don't have to talk." I hesitated, then muttered, "Suit yourself." When she arrived, I hadn't shaved in days. She stepped inside, looked around, and frowned. "You live like a ghost." "Fitting," I said. "I was haunted before you got here." She placed takeout on the table. "Eat." "I'm not hungry." "Eat anyway." I sat down, staring at the box. It's weird, you know? I worked so hard for her. For us. And now, nothing feels real. "She hurt you," Ava said softly. "You're allowed to fall apart." I don't even know what that means anymore. It means stop pretending you're fine. I looked up at her, eyes burning. If I stop pretending, I won't get up again. She didn't argue. She just sat there with me while the food went cold. Later that night, my phone buzzed. My mother's name flashed across the screen. I hadn't heard her voice in 3 years. I almost ignored it, but I answered. "Ethan." "Yeah, Mom." Her voice trembled. "You sound tired?" "I am." "I heard about Lila," she said. "Jason told me." "Of course he did." "I just wanted to check on you." "I'm fine. You've said that since you were 12. Silence. I stared at the wall. "I don't want to talk about the past." "Maybe. That's why it keeps repeating," she said quietly. "Don't start." "I'm not blaming you," she said. "I just want you to know you're stronger than this." "I don't feel strong." "You don't have to. You just have to survive the day." I rubbed my eyes. "You left, Mom? You don't get to tell me how to survive?" She went quiet. "You're right. But I still believe you can." Something in her tone cracked me open. I didn't answer. She didn't push. She just said, "Call me when you're ready," and hung up. I stared at the phone long after the line went dead. The next morning, I dragged myself to work. Mr. Dwyer, my boss, raised an eyebrow. "Back from the dead?" "Almost." "Good. There's a deadline. Ava covered for you." I glanced at her across the room. She gave me a small smile. During lunch, she came over. "You survived the morning, barely progress." I leaned back, staring out the window. "You ever feel like everything you believed in was fake?" "All the time," she said. "That's why we build new things." I scoffed. "Easy for you to say." "It's not," she said. "I just learned that pain doesn't vanish. You walk with it until it becomes lighter." Her words stuck with me. That night, I tried to write again. The blank document glared at me. I typed one sentence, then deleted it. "Pain doesn't scream. It whispers that you deserved it." I stared at the line for a long time. Then I left it there. The following weekend, Jason showed up unannounced. "Nice cave," he said, looking around. "Planning to rot here forever?" "Working on it." He laughed dryly. "You look like hell." "Thanks." He sat down. "Look, man, I know she screwed you up, but you can't let her win by falling apart." "I'm not falling apart," I said. "I'm just done." He studied me. "You're not done. You're stuck. Big difference." I sighed. "What do you want me to do? Pretend nothing happened?" "No, just get up. Go outside. Breathe. I'll think about it." "You always say that?" He left after that, muttering something about bringing beer next time. When the door closed, I sat alone in the quiet. For the first time, I didn't feel angry, just hollow. That night, Ava texted, "Tomorrow, Coffee. No excuses. I almost said no. Then I remembered what my mother said. You just have to survive the day. So I typed back, fine, 1 coffee. I looked around the apartment, her photos still on the wall, her mug still by the sink. I didn't throw them out. Not yet. Some wounds, I realized, need to stay open a little longer before they can heal. Asterisk, it started with a photo. Marcus and Lila, smiling under a cafe sign that looked too familiar. My cafe design. My logo sketch. My dream. I stared at the post until my coffee went cold. Ava noticed from across the office. You okay? No, I said. They opened our cafe? Her face hardened. You're kidding. I wish I was. I turned the phone toward her. Same name, same layout. Even the tagline, where warmth meets wakefulness. I wrote that line. She exhaled slowly. That's low. I gave them everything, I muttered. Ideas, plans, hours of work, and they used them to build their happy little empire. No, I said, voice trembling. I'm done being quiet. That night, I found myself outside their cafe. Bright lights, cheerful music, laughter spilling out. Lila's laugh. I hadn't heard it since the day she broke me. I didn't go in. I just stood across the street, watching her behind the counter, smiling at Marcus like he was the hero of her story. Looks nice, doesn't it? A voice said beside me. I turned. Professor Grant, my old writing mentor, his coat soaked from the drizzle. Professor. He smiled faintly. Ava called me, said you were about to do something stupid. Not doing anything. Staring at your ex's cafe in the rain. Observation isn't a crime. Neither is moving on, he said gently. I sighed. They stole everything, Professor. Not just her. My work, my name, my trust. And what do you want to do about it? I don't know. Yes, you do, he said. You want to take back your power. But revenge, Ethan, is a poor architect. It builds nothing new. Then what do I build? I asked. He smiled. Yourself. Later at home, his words echoed in my head. Build yourself. I opened my laptop, the same one where I'd seen those messages. The blank screen blinked at me. I started typing not for her, not for Marcus, but for me. I wrote about betrayal, loss, and the quiet rage that never finds a voice. I wrote until sunrise. When Ava called that morning, I barely looked up. Still awake? She asked. Yeah, you sound different. I started writing again. That's good, she said softly. What about her, me? Everything I didn't say. She paused. You think people will want to read that? I don't care if they do. I just need to get it out. Then do it, she said. Bleed it out word by word. 2 weeks passed. My writing turned into a routine: coffee, anger, typing. Sometimes Ava came over, sat quietly while I worked. You ever think about showing this to someone? She asked one night. Professor Grant, maybe. He said I should make the pain useful. That's smart, she said. Turn what broke you into something that pays rent. I laughed softly. You make Heartbreak sound like a business model. Everything's a business model, she said. Even healing. One evening, I got a message from Jason. Mom said you're writing again, he said. You good? Getting there? You gonna get even? I looked at the screen for a long time before replying. Not the way you think. A few weeks later, Professor Grant introduced me to an editor friend. He loves raw voices, he said. Yours bleeds honesty. The editor read a few pages and said, There's something here. It's painful but real. I nodded. It's supposed to hurt, he smiled. Good. People need that. As the weeks passed, word spread about Marcus and Lila's cafe. The reviews started dropping complaints about poor service. Fake smiles, overpriced drinks. Ava showed me one headline. Local calf loses shine as rumors of idea theft surface. I blinked. Rumors. People talk, she said. Your friends know the truth. I didn't tell anyone. Someone did. I stared at the article. I didn't feel triumphant. Just, still? You're not smiling, Ava said. I thought I'd feel something.
I don't.
That's because you're moving on, she said. Revenge doesn't taste sweet when you've outgrown it. That night, Marcus called me. I hadn't heard his voice in months. Ethan, he said, voice tight. We need to talk. No, we don't. Look, man, the cafe's struggling. Investors are backing out. You didn't say anything, right? I laughed. I didn't have to, he cursed under his breath. You always think you're better than me. No, I said quietly. I just learned what happens when you steal from someone who built with love. He hung up without another word. I sat there for a while, the silence around me steady and calm. Ava stopped by the next day. You look lighter? I am. Planning to visit their cafe again? No, I said, smiling faintly. I've got my own plans now. What kind of plans? New name, new place. Second dawn, her eyes widened. You're opening your own? Yeah, different design, new meaning. This one's built on scars, not lies. She smiled. That's the Ethan I missed. I looked at the sunrise through the window. He was buried under too much pain. Took a while to dig him out. When I finally turned off my phone, I glanced once more at the photo of Lila and Marcus. The smiles that once tore me apart didn't sting anymore. I whispered, if love broke me, ambition will rebuild me. Out. And for the first time, I believed it. 6 months passed before I realized I was breathing normally again. The nightmares faded. The silence stopped, sounding like punishment. Ava noticed first. You're smiling again, she said, leaning against my desk. Am I? Barely, but I'll take it. I didn't even notice. That's the point, she said. Healing sneaks up on you. I grinned faintly. That should be a quote on a coffee mug. She laughed. Then make one. You own a cafe now, remember? Not yet, I said. Still paperwork, but soon. Second dawn, she said softly. It suits you. The cafe came together, slowly bricked walls, soft lights, and a menu that felt personal. Jason helped with the finances. Ava handled the marketing. For once, I wasn't building for love. I was building for peace. Jason watched me fix a sign one morning. Never thought I'd see you here, he said. Where else would I be? Writing angry poetry in your apartment? I chuckled. Did that already? Time for something new. He studied me. You sure you're not doing this to prove a point? I was, I admitted. Now I just want something that's mine again. He nodded slowly. Good. You deserve that. Ava brought coffee as we looked over the final design. You've changed, she said. Yeah. You used to talk about revenge. Now you talk about recipes? I got tired of bleeding. She smiled. That's growth. Or exhaustion. Both can build something beautiful. When Second Dawn opened, I expected emptiness. Instead, people came, friends, co-workers, even strangers who'd read my essays online. Professor Grant was first in line. He raised his cup. Told you pain could build something new. I laughed. You're never going to let me forget that, are you? Not a chance. Ava leaned over the counter. How's it feel? Terrifying, I said. And perfect. That night, after closing, she and I sat on the floor, surrounded by half-empty cups and the smell of coffee beans. You ever think about her? She asked quietly. Sometimes, I admitted, but it doesn't hurt the same. It's like remembering a movie I've already finished. She'd hate that metaphor, Ava teased. Probably. I smiled. She liked to believe every ending could be rewritten. And you? I like to believe some stories end so new ones can start. Ava nodded. Then what's next for you? I thought about it. Keep building. Keep writing. Maybe learn to sleep. She chuckled. Small goals? They're enough. Mr. Dwyer visited a week later, surprising me during lunch hour. Didn't think you had the guts to quit corporate life, he said. Didn't think I did either. You're doing well here. I'm surviving. He smirked. Survival's the first step to success. Before leaving, he added, if you ever need help expanding, call me. I like betting on comebacks. After he left, I stood behind the counter watching the door swing shut. His words echoed come back. Maybe that's what this was. Not revenge, not redemption. Just a quiet comeback. That evening, Jason joined me for a drink after closing. You've got people talking, he said. Your cafe, your writing, everything's blowing up. I didn't plan it. Exactly, he said. You stopped planning around pain, and life caught up. I looked around the cafe, warm light, soft chatter, a corner shelf lined with my writing journals. Guess it did. Jason raised his glass. To surviving heartbreak? I clinked mine against his. To becoming someone who doesn't need to survive anymore. When he left, I cleaned up, humming under my breath. The song playing over the speakers was one Leela used to love. I didn't skip it this time. Ava came in, coat over her arm. You staying late again? Just finishing up. She smiled. You're a workaholic. It's better than a heartbroken alcoholic, I joked. She laughed. Fair point. Before she left, she turned back. For what it's worth, Ethan, I'm proud of you. The words caught me off guard. Thanks, I said quietly. When the door closed, I stood there for a long time, the lights dim, the air warm. I looked around my cafe, my place, and whispered. I stopped asking why they hurt me and started asking why I let them. For the first time, it didn't feel like a confession. It felt like freedom. Asterisk, I wasn't planning to see her again. But life has a way of testing your peace. It started with a message from Jason. You need to come downtown. It's about Marcus. I stared at my phone for a full minute before replying. Why would I care? He called, just come. You'll want to see this. When I arrived, Marcus was standing outside the old firm, arguing with 2 security guards. His voice was loud, desperate. You can't do this. I gave this company everything. One guard said, you gave it trouble. Now leave. Jason stood beside me, arms crossed. He got caught embezzling. Tried to cover a personal trip with company funds. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. Karma works overtime, huh? Jason smirked. She's efficient. Marcus turned then, spotting me. His face twisted, anger, guilt, shame, all mixed together. Ethan. Marcus, I said, calm. Long time. He took a step closer. I know what you think, but it wasn't. Don't. I cut in. You already had your story once. I don't need a sequel. He swallowed hard. I made a mistake. I said quietly. So did I. I trusted you. For a second, he looked like he wanted to fight, then deflated. You've got everything now, huh? The cafe, the praise, you win. There was never a competition, I said. You just lost yourself. He didn't respond. Security pulled him back, and he didn't resist. Jason watched him go. You handled that better than I expected. Stop needing revenge, I said. Watching him fall is just ... sad. That evening, the cafe buzzed with customers. Ava brought over a tray and whispered, Guess who's outside? I glanced toward the window. Lila, standing in the rain, clutching something small. Ava frowned. Want me to tell her to leave? No, I said, my stomach tightening. Let her in. Lila stepped inside hesitantly. Her hair was shorter, her eyes duller. She looked fragile, almost transparent. Hi, Ethan, she said softly. I nodded. Lila, she looked around. It's beautiful here. Thanks. She placed a folded letter on the counter. I didn't come to ask for anything. I just wanted to say sorry. I didn't touch the letter. You already said that once. I know, she whispered. But I never meant it before. I do now. Why now? Because I finally understand what I broke. I sighed. You didn't just break us. You broke me. But I fixed myself without you. She blinked back tears. Marcus used me. Said he loved me. When things went wrong, he left. I thought I deserved it. I shook my head. You didn't deserve pain, but you chose him anyway. I did, she admitted. And I've been paying for it ever since. There was silence. The sound of rain filled the space between us. I read your articles, she said finally. They hurt to read. They hurt to write. She nodded slowly. I'm glad you found peace. I found myself, I said. Peace was a bonus. She smiled faintly. I don't expect forgiveness. Good, I said, because I don't have it to give. Not anymore. Her lip trembled. You're colder now, I replied. I'm just not burning anymore. Lila wiped her eyes. I hope someday someone loves you better than I did. I already do, I said. I love me better than you ever could. She gave a sad smile. Goodbye, Ethan. Goodbye, Lila. She turned and walked out into the rain, her figure fading behind the fogged glass. Ava came up behind me. You okay? Yeah, you sure? I didn't shake, I said. That's progress. She smiled softly. That's strength. I looked down at the letter she'd left. I didn't open it. I dropped it into the trash instead. Ava raised an eyebrow. Not even curious? I don't need to know her regrets, I said. They're not my story anymore. That night, I locked up the cafe alone. The rain had stopped, and the streets glowed under dim lights. I whispered to the quiet. They broke me to pieces, but those pieces built this. For once, I didn't feel hollow. I felt whole. The night felt heavier than usual, though the cafe was closed and quiet. The smell of roasted beans clung to the air, the lights dimmed just the way I liked it. I sat alone by the window, staring at the city that used to feel too big for me. My phone buzzed. Jason, double quotes, big day tomorrow, he said. Yeah, the magazine feature. Front page, he said proudly. Who would have thought? The same guy who used to eat instant noodles and cry over spreadsheets? I chuckled. You make it sound tragic. It was, but look at you now. I'm still figuring it out, I said. I just learned to smile while doing it. That's the trick, he said. You showing up for the interview? Wouldn't miss it. Good. Don't let the past creep in tomorrow. This is your story now. After we hung up, I sat in silence for a while. The past didn't creep anymore. It knocked, waited, and left when I didn't answer. The next morning, the journalist arrived early. A young woman named Sarah, holding a recorder and a soft smile. Mr. Cole? Just Ethan, I said. She nodded. Your cafe has quite the reputation. People say it feels ... healing. I smiled. That's the goal. Would you mind if I asked about the name? Second, Don, what does it mean to you? I hesitated, then said, it means starting again without needing revenge. She looked intrigued. Was there revenge once? There was pain, I said. And pain looks a lot like revenge when you're drowning in it. I think healing is learning to stop picking the wound just to check if it's still bleeding. She paused, clearly touched. That's beautiful. I laughed softly. It's honest. When she left, Ava appeared from the back room holding 2 coffees. Deep interview. She's good, I said. Made me sound wiser than I am. You are wiser, she said. You just hide it behind sarcasm. I call it self-defense. Ava smiled. You've come a long way, Ethan. Sometimes I forget, I admitted. Then something small reminds me, like what? Like waking up and not feeling angry. She nodded. That's rare peace. Yeah, took a lifetime to earn it. That afternoon, the doorbell rang. A familiar face stepped in Professor Grant. He waved. Still brewing philosophy into your coffee? Always, I said, grinning. How have you been? Better now. Saw your article in the paper. Thought I'd stop by before fame changes you? Don't worry. I'm still underpaid. He laughed, then leaned closer. You did it, Ethan. You turned heartbreak into creation. That's the hardest magic. I tilted my head. Magic. Of course. Anyone can destroy. Few can rebuild. His words hit deep. Guess I had to lose everything to understand what I wanted to build. He patted my shoulder. You're not lost anymore. That's enough. Later, as the cafe emptied, I sat at my favorite table, the one near the window where I once watched the rain fall like tears. Tonight, the streetlights shimmered like tiny promises. Ava joined me. You okay? Yeah, I said. Just thinking about her? Not really. More about who I was back then. The guy who thought love was forever, she asked softly. Yeah, I said. He was naive, but he wasn't wrong. He just gave forever to the wrong person. Ava smiled gently. Maybe he needed to lose her to meet himself. I looked at her. Maybe. She hesitated. Can I be honest? Always. You scare me sometimes. Why? Because you carry your pain too quietly. Like it's still alive somewhere inside you? I met her eyes. Maybe it is. But now it works for me, not against me. She nodded slowly. Then I'm glad I met this version of you.
Me too, I said.
He's a lot calmer. When she left, I stayed behind and switched off the lights one by one. The darkness didn't feel lonely anymore. It felt earned. I stepped outside. The night breeze brushed against my face, cool and soft. For a moment, I looked up at the sky and whispered, I forgive you. I didn't say her name. I didn't need to. Forgiveness wasn't for her. It was the last weight I'd been carrying as I locked the door and walked away. I felt lighter, like the world had exhaled with me. The dawn would come again, and for once, I wasn't waiting for anyone. I was already home. A year passed before I noticed the quiet didn't scare me anymore. It used to echo with her voice. Now it hummed with my own peace. The cafe thrived. Customers laughed, people lingered, and life felt ... steady. Ava came in one morning, waving the new magazine. You're trending again, Mr. Famous? I smirked. Still not used to that title. You better get used to it, she said. People love your story. My story's just pain and coffee, I said. That's exactly why they love it. I laughed. Guess Heartbreak sells. She rolled her eyes. No, healing does. Later that day, Jason stopped by, suit jacket slung over his shoulder. You've turned this place into a phenomenon, he said. Luck, I replied. Hard work, he corrected. And maybe some karma, I grinned. I thought you didn't believe in karma. It's after watching Marcus crash and burn. I'm reconsidering. How's he doing? I asked, though the answer didn't matter much. Last I heard, he's in another city, trying to start over. Good, I said quietly. Maybe he'll find what he's missing. Jason tilted his head. You mean guilt? Peace, I said. Even people who hurt us deserve that eventually. Studied me. You really let it go, huh? I had to. Carrying hate only made me remember her more. Jason nodded slowly. You're better than me, man. No, I said. Just tired of bleeding. That evening, Ava joined me after closing. You've been quiet, she said, sliding a cup toward me, thinking about the future. I spent so long trying to survive the past, I forgot to plan for what comes next. She smiled. Then what comes next? I took a sip. Maybe expansion. Maybe writing again. Maybe just living. That last one's underrated, she said. Yeah, I murmured. It feels good not to run from anything. She looked at me for a long moment. You know, I think you're finally happy. I think so too. The next morning, an envelope arrived. No name, just familiar handwriting. Lila inside was a short note. I saw the article. You're doing amazing, Ethan. I'm sorry again, because you need to hear it, but because I needed to say it one last time. Thank you for teaching me what real love looks like. Even if I only understood it when it was gone, I stared at the words for a long time. No anger, no ache. Just quiet acceptance. Ava noticed me holding the letter. From her? Yeah. You okay? More than okay, I said, smiling faintly. It feels like the final page of a book I already finished. What are you going to do with it? I folded it carefully. Keep it. Not because I miss her, because it reminds me I survived her. Ava touched my arm gently. You're stronger than you think. Maybe, I said. But strength didn't save me. Choosing to heal did. That night, I walked home alone under the soft city lights. The air was crisp, the sky clear. I stopped by the bridge where everything once broke. The same one I'd walked across the night I found out. I leaned on the rail, watching the reflection of the city shimmer on the river. I forgive you, I whispered again. But this time, it wasn't for anyone else. It was for me. For the man who stayed when everyone else left. For the one who built something out of the ruins. The water rippled gently, catching the glow of the moon. For the first time in years, I smiled not for what I'd lost, but for what I'd become. The past no longer hurt. It simply was, and I finally was, too.